Our homework for tonight is page 30, 4 through 26. So what we're going to look at here is 14, 15, and 16. So we're just asked whether or not the statement is true. It's best if your student includes, or you as a student include an explanation of why it's true by showing a little bit of work. So for number 14, 6 equals the square root of 36 is true because 6 times 6 equals 36. Okay, we know that 6 is the square root of 36 because 6 times 6 equals 36. So we're going to see how that's going to help us out with 15. 15, 1.5 is not equal to this. Wait, maybe it is. Hold on 1 second. I think I misread that number. Here we go. 2.25. Let's see if this is true. It is true if I can take 1.5 and multiply it times 1.5 and get 2.25. So here I'm going to get out my calculator and I'm going to take 1.5 times 1.5, and sure enough, it is 2.5. So this is true because 1.5, and I'm going to write it a little bit differently this time, squared is 2.25. Okay, we know it's true because 1.5 squared, or 1.5 times 1.5, is 2.25. That's how we're defining the square root. Okay, next problem, 11. 11 is not the square root of 101. Not true. And it's not true because 11 squared is 121. It is not 101. All right? So that's how we know that 11 is not the square root of 101. We can prove it by taking 11 and squaring it. You get 121. So the first two are true. 16 is not true. So far, these two are rational square roots because we can write the answers as rational numbers. 6 is a rational number. 1.5 is a rational number. Next, we have 7 through 22. Now we're going to, oops, I forgot 23 through 26. So we'll get those here in a second. Anyway, we're finding the missing number. So here for 17, what we're looking for is the square root of some number is 81. Now, they did this on purpose. You might look at 81 and say, hey, wait a minute, the square root of 81 is 9. I know it's 9. And you want to put a 9 here. But that's not what it's asking you. It's asking you the square root of some number is 81. It's not asking you for the square root of 81. So here, we're going to have to figure out what goes here by taking 81 and squaring it. 81 times 81 equals 6,561. So the missing number is 6,561 because 81 times 81 is 6,561. All right? Might have gotten fooled on that one. Hopefully you tried it on your own first. Okay, 18. Same scenario, except we're a little less tricky because 14 isn't a perfect square, so they're not tempting us with that. We need to know that 14 is the square root of some number, and we can figure out that missing number by taking 14 squared. I'm going to use this key to square 14. Same thing as multiplying 14 times 14. So the square root of 196 is 14. 14 is the square root of 196. Muy bien. Okay, 19 we're just going to skip because I don't know what happened to this problem. That's not written correctly. Nope, we're moving on. Moving on. Same situation here. Square root of some number is 3.2, so 20. The square root of some number is 3.2. Hopefully you know what to do here. Take 3.2 and square it. So the square root of 10.24 is 3.2. Cool. 21. Now, we didn't do fractions in class, so this is where we're going to have to kind of stretch yourself a little bit. The square root of some number is 1/4. Okay? The square root of some number is 1/4. Now, this calculator isn't good with fractions over here on the right, so this isn't going to help us. We're going to take, same thing that we did with the other problems, we're going to take this and square it. We're going to go 1/4 times 1/4. It's 1/4 squared. And hopefully you remember your fraction rules, 1/16. So the square root of 1/16 is 1/4. Now this year we're not going to go into it, but next year in algebra, you guys are going to go into a lot of rules of what you can do and what you can't do with this radical symbol, okay? But this is your first foyer into that world. You can move the radical here and here. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 1 is 1. We didn't have to do that. We just did this. Got our answer. We're golden. We're going to do the same thing for 22. Well, not quite the same thing, because it's giving us the square root of 4/9. And hopefully you're going to say, okay, what two numbers could I multiply to get 4? What two numbers could I multiply to get 9 by themselves? Sorry, I phrased that wrong. What number can I multiply by itself and get 4? What number can I multiply by itself and get 9? And hopefully you recognize that the square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3. And if you took 2/3 times 2/3, you would get 4/9. All right, so that's 22. That is 22. 4 more to go. Sorry about that. All right, so now they're asking you, find each product. Now, hopefully from class today, you realize that the square root of 2, sorry, this is number 23, that the square root of 2 is irrational, right? There's no way we can write that out as a decimal. And if we multiply square root of 2 times the square root of 2, you know, the square root of 2 is also irrational, whether it's over here, right? So we're multiplying two irrational numbers together. I don't know how to do this, Mr. Montoya. This seems really, really confusing. However, just like with those other problems, if we take the square root of 9, which is 3, and multiplied it times itself, 3, we would get 9. So here, if we multiply the square root of 2 times the square root of 2, we get 2, right? Because whatever the square root of 2 is, some irrational number, 1.4 something, right? As long as we multiply it times itself, we should get 2, right? Irrational or not, it should get 2. So hopefully this helps you make sure that you got your other answers correct, because it's going to go pretty fast from here. 24, 25, 26. Now 24 hopefully was, 25 is hopefully going to help prove this point, okay? You should see square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. Now here, square root of 4, we actually know, because square root of 4 is a rational number, we know what the square root of 4 is. We know the square root of 4 is 2. So the square root of 4 times the square root of 4 is the same thing as 2 times 2. And you guys know what 2 times 2 is. It's 4, right? So we can see how we can jump over here to say the square root of 4 times the square root of 4 is 4. And we can prove it because we know what the square root of 4 is. It's 2. Square root of 4 is 2. All right. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. And then we have the last one, which hopefully by now is pretty straightforward and obvious. Square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is 5. And that's your homework for the evening, folks. We're going to be doing a lot with square roots today in class. We did number classification, where we talked about rational and irrational numbers. That's why I use that vocabulary so much. Hopefully the video helped make the homework make sense, and see you soon.